Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic morning this morning, making the most of your day, I hope, and I hope that it's a terrific day. I hope you started it out really well. I hope things are going good. If they're not, we're going to make them better. If they are, we're going to make them better. So I hope you're having a great Friday. TGIF with us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Football studios. Cafe Football is with you all throughout Central New York, 3501 James Street, 208 North Townsend Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, as well as in downtown Syracuse inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, minutes from the Dome, as well as finding them on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in the giant behemoth of a Brown Street building. I was out that way yesterday, got to see it, the expanded parking lot, perfect to go into. And just as you come into Manlius, where all the roads converge, you could stop right there at Cafe Football. And if you go out to places like Critt's Farms and some other places to get your Christmas tree, you can pull right in there on the way there or on the way back. You can head out to Cafe Football this weekend, so make sure you do that. And big shout out, big love, and much appreciation to their newest location, corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse at Sweetheart Corners, for their drive-through there for Cafe Football. So with that being said, we got an awesome show stacked up for you today. We got 5 different things we're getting into, which I'm ecstatic about. We're going to start things off inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin' with the Annoying Moment of the Week, as we do every Friday to start off the show. The Annoying Moment of the Week coming to you, presented by Carvel DeWitt. And then at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we will have Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver is what the acronym I created stands for. And today's topic is going to be taking a deep breath. We'll talk about that and the importance of it daily. So, taking a deep breath. There's been weeks where I didn't take a deep breath all week long. Well, now it's about taking a deep breath daily. We're going to discuss the importance of taking a deep breath with Miss Juanita Ward, motivational speaker and author. She joins us, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we'll announce our top dog of the week. Some of you that have been listening to the show the last couple of weeks could prognosticate where I'm going to go with this one. So our top dog of the week is going to be announced at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, proudly presented by the wonderful and awesome people at Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, the perfect place to bring your furry-loving friend for short and long-term care, as well as dog grooming and so much more. Canine Kampground and Canine Camp Dog Daycare right there in East Syracuse, just off of Bridge Street, right by Erie Boulevard. So very centrally located and easy to get to off of the highway. So actually literally right off the highway, and then you turn and you're there. So make sure that you head out there today. And we're at 10:10 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be joined by Jonathan Thomas, Syracuse linebacker alum, who was part of Syracuse's team toward the end of the Scott Shafer era and the beginning of the Dino Babers era, just like Jordan Fredericks, who joined us last week, to tell us about the transition from Shafer to Babers, his thoughts on Dino Babers' culture, and what he thinks about the team currently. And then we'll round out today's show with an all-new Pacer Pride featuring Marywood Pacers Executive Director of Athletics, Mr. Pat Murphy, speaking with us on so many different topics, including but not limited to his Marywood, the Marywood women's basketball team, the Marywood men's basketball team, as well as Marywood swimming and diving, the Marywood field hockey team, and then Marywood cross country and track and field teams, the women's soccer team for the Pacers, and so much more, including a very festive edition, a Christmas edition of the Hot Seat in Rapid Fire. So you don't want to miss our video one-on-one with Pat Murphy and the why for Marywood. Why choose Marywood? And we speak on recruiting and his excitement and what he loves about recruiting. So we'll get into all those pieces here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in just a little bit as we round out today's show. So plenty of show coming to you here on TGIF. We've had a fantastic week of guests, and it's only going to get better as we get rocking and rolling here this morning, where sports meets that thing called life. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. And with that being said, it's time to jump in already to the annoying moment of the week. We are going to get right into it here with the annoying moment. And those of you that have been paying attention to what's going on in the world of Syracuse athletics, you may know what I'm going to call this annoying moment of the week. So let's hop into the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like. So we'll get into our annoying moment of the week here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora right now.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like, and it is here for you today to take a look at the current status of Syracuse football. My annoying moment of the week is Syracuse. My annoying moment of the week is Syracuse football's current... I shouldn't say Syracuse. It's not my home. My annoying moment of the week is the current state of affairs at Syracuse University. And that is the fact that as of this morning, there are 15 players coming from Syracuse going into the transfer portal. 15 players, folks. 15 going into the transfer portal from Syracuse football. So, Syracuse has 10 hard commits coming onto the team, and they have 15 leaving the team in the transfer portal. So with the recruits that Syracuse currently has coming in for 2022, they can't even fill the spots being left scholarship-wise by the transfers. Syracuse with 15 transfers going out, 10 commits potentially coming in, and that's not a guarantee. So 10 commits potentially coming in. So Syracuse doesn't have enough coming in to make for just the transfers going out, let alone those that finish their eligibility. And then you look at the normal number that you got to bring in. You typically have to bring in somewhere around 20 players recruiting-wise. You're losing at least 9 eligibility-wise because they finished it, and 15 in the transfer portal. So let's just, for argument's sake, say 15 plus 9 is 24, and you got to bring in 22 players as true freshmen. That's 46 players on 85 roster spots. It's more than half the team that is going to have to be filled by the beginning of February. And Syracuse, like other schools, like to lock things up early, and Syracuse has been using this early signing period to lock up their players, and I can't even fathom that Syracuse can somehow, some way get 40-some-odd players to sign before Christmas in the early signing period of December. So, you know, what's typically Syracuse getting, like, let's say if they have 20 players, they get 17 of them, 18 of them, 19 of them to sign in December, and then they wait on the 1 or 2. Yeah, this isn't the case right now. Syracuse is in a position where they're going to have to make up for a lot, and they don't have enough coming in. So it's the annoying moment of the week because you got 10 commits coming in and 15 transfers going out, so you can't even cover your transfer butt with the amount of players that you have leaving and the amount of players that you have coming in, because Syracuse does not have 20 commits. They have 10 commits, and they have 15 players going out in the transfer portal, which is so very frustrating. And if you look at the transfer portal for Syracuse, to go down the list, this is going to be from the date they entered to most recently. Landon Morris, August 15th, leaving Syracuse without even really getting a lick out there as a tight end and wide receiver. On August 27th, Cody Shear, who transferred from another school to Syracuse, I believe in June. I don't even know if he practiced. Maybe he did, because it was the end of August that he decided to leave. But this is where we're at right now. So Cody Shear was supposed to come from another school to Syracuse, and I don't even know if he had a half of a millisecond in Syracuse before he's gone. The offensive lineman. Russell Thompson Bishop, the wide receiver, he's gone, leaving Syracuse for the transfer portal on September 21st, so early this season. And then on September 27th, Jarvion Howard said goodbye to Syracuse as a running back. Taj Harris bid adieu to the Orange after a tumultuous beginning of the season. He left on October 4th. On October 17th, 4 days before my birthday, Tommy DeVito left the team after being ousted by Garrett Schrader at quarterback. Larry Kinsler left the Orange on November 9th. On November 16th, backup quarterback and one of the 4 freshmen that had an opportunity to potentially play in the future, Dylan Markowitz, he left the team on November 16th. On November 17th, Jeff Canton-Arcu said goodbye. He had some big-time plays this season on the defensive side at linebacker. Then defensive lineman and vet on the team, Curtis Harper, said he's going to find his time somewhere else for his final season. On November 24th, he said goodbye. On November 29th, Joe Rondi, defensive lineman, said see you later to Syracuse. On December 1st, Syracuse got a twofer, unfortunately, as Adrian Cole, cornerback who stepped in when guys went down this year, and starting tight end Luke Benson, is gone now. Aaron Hacken and Luke Benson, the best 1-2 punch at tight end that Syracuse has had in over a decade, have each left the program. And on December 6th, a big blow came to the offense as running back and wide receiver Cooper Lutz, who backs up Sean Tucker, said, I ain't going to stay here no more. And then yesterday, for those of you watching and listening live, December 9th, a man who fought all the way from obscurity to being a starting wide receiver is now leaving the team in Sherrod Johnson. So, 15 players for Syracuse are in the transfer portal. Not 2, not 3. 15 players are saying, peace out, Orange. We're done with y'all. Craziness going on in Syracuse. Coaches are leaving as well. You know, the wide receivers coach allegedly heading off to Kansas. It's just, I mean, it's crazy. Dino has not, I don't believe, unless it was the first year, but I don't think he did because Sean Lewis and whatnot. Dino has not kept a staff together any one of his seasons from year to year, from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 and on and on and on and whatever. Has not kept a staff together. So that, to me, is a glaring issue. The fact that staff members are still leaving here is a glaring issue. The fact that there was no special teams coordinator last season at all was a glaring issue. The fact that players have been transferring, but now you have 15 and you had more coming after the decision that John Wildcat made to keep Dino Babers, and 2 of them being starters this season or in the rotation of starting this season with Cooper Lutz. And, you know, Cooper Lutz's been a backup to Sean Tucker, but he's been, I don't want to say starter, but he's been utilized in the offense. It's not like he was just sitting on the bench doing nothing. So Cooper Lutz, who's been utilized the last 2 years, and Sherrod Johnson, who just worked to be a starter, those coming most recently, that to me is an issue. So, you know, we look at where Syracuse is currently at right now, and Terrence Samuel allegedly potentially leaving for Kansas. And so that's something that has come up here, the wide receivers coach. So it looks like Syracuse is just going to run the ball down your throat because your wide receivers are leaving, and potentially, and it did happen within the last couple days here. So it just hasn't been updated on Syracuse's website because Syracuse still has him as the wide receivers coach. But Kansas has hired Terrence Samuel as their new offensive staff member. So Syracuse wide receivers coach is going to be leaving to be a member of the offensive staff at Kansas. So that is a done deal. So when you look at this right now and you go down the list and you look at who Dino has had on his staff since the beginning, this list is very, very, well, he had Brad Wickey and Roy Wickey, a director of operations, director of player personnel. They did come with him from that. And then actual coaches, he only has a couple. He has Nick Monroe, safeties and nickelbacks coach, and Mike Lynch is a running backs coach who was demoted from co-offensive coordinator with Sean Lewis, who went on to Kent State to be the head coach. Tony White's only been with the team for a couple seasons as D coordinator. Chris Ashuf, the linebackers coach, came on after the fact. Terrence Samuel, who's leaving, was only been here for a season. Mike Schmidt came offensive line coach last year. Chip West for cornerbacks, he came in within the last couple seasons. And, I mean, really, Dino has lost almost everybody, either by firing them or by them taking a job somewhere else. So, this is a very short list of coaches that have stayed around. And Sean Enninger he has stayed, as well as assistant AD in athletic performance. So he has been there. So Edinger, Whitkey, Lynch, and Monroe. That's all he has left. He has lost multiple position coaches. Right now, there's no D-line coach. There's no offensive coordinator. And then there has been a special teams coordinator added to the fray. So my annoying moment of the week this week is the fact that Syracuse football, after the decision to keep Dino Babers, and this is not me saying that, I'm wishing bad on somebody or I didn't want him to have a job or didn't want him to be here. I'm not saying this at all. I'm just making a factual statement. Since the news that Syracuse was keeping Dino Babers, you have had more leave from the coaching staff and from the student athletes on the team. So knowing Dino was staying made things arguably worse for Syracuse. That, to me, is a big old red flag. What Jordan Frederick said on the show last week, which I'll be adding to our different avenues where you can go and listen, that conversation that I had with Jordan Fredericks, that threw up another red flag. So, you already have a coach that doesn't recruit locally. You already have a coach that doesn't connect with the alumni of the Syracuse football program. So you're not connecting with the alumni. You're not connecting with the community. Your assistant coaches can't talk to anybody. Media is not allowed into practice outside of watching them stretch for 10 minutes in the beginning. You have minimized the amount of times that media can speak to your players. And like I said, they can't speak to your coaches. You don't recruit locally. You put all of that stuff together, plus the fact that you have 15 in the transfer portal and you have coaches every single season that are either getting fired or leaving. That's an issue. That's an issue on 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 an issue. And what's being done about it? Seemingly nothing. So, to have Syracuse be in this position and to continue to be in this position, and then to see the fact that, players keep leaving. Obviously, there's players in droves that don't want to be at Syracuse, and there's coaches that don't want to be at Syracuse. And the community doesn't feel the love from Syracuse. And on top of all of that, you're not reaching out to the kids here in the community that are good enough. Servassier Dennis just won an ACC championship with Pittsburgh. He didn't have a shot at that with Syracuse outside of the year where Syracuse went 10-3. So what's the conversation? What's the narrative? What's the reason to stay at Syracuse for these players right now? Because they're running. They're running. The players are running. The coaches are running. This is saying to me that there's a fire. Because if there's not a fire, why is everybody running away from something? So, are they running away from something, toward something? It just doesn't feel like a good atmosphere. But it's my annoying moment of the week this week because there's 15 names in the transfer portal and only 10 commits to Syracuse, which, like I said before, you can't even cover your own behind with new blood coming in and the old blood going out, not counting your seniors and your graduates that are moving on and the normal spots that you have to fill. Listen, every single year you got to bring in a bunch of recruits, obviously. So that's a normal number you got to bring in. But now you have to make up for, okay, eligibility going out, the normal players I have coming in, and now this transfer portal. And people say, well, Dan, it's happening all over the country, right? All over the country, there's people transferring. Yeah, that is true. There are people transferring all over the country. But guess what? Guess what? There are people transferring all over the country. But leaving Syracuse, they are running from the Syracuse Orange, okay? That, to me, is a very, very, very questionable thing and a dangerous thing to see that, Okay, we look at the fact that Clemson had a difficult year, right? Not a typical year. I'm not seeing anybody sitting here in their transfer portal right now. Then let's go to some of the other teams here. The Duke Blue Devils. Let's go to Duke. Let's take a look at Duke and see what Duke has. So, Duke, right now, they had some people leaving in, let's see here. So Duke has Duke has a few. Duke has, let's see, 4. They have 4. And their coach just got fired. And David they agreed to mutually part ways, pardon me. David Cutcliffe leaving. So that's 4. Right? Now let's look at what else we got here. Let's look at Florida State. Now Florida State has a bunch going out and they have a bunch coming in. They still don't have as many as Syracuse. And you realize that nobody's... See, this is the other thing that's the annoying moment of the week. Nobody's coming into Syracuse. Nobody's transferring in. 15 are transferring out. There's nobody transferring in. As of right now, there's nobody transferring into Syracuse. So that's another issue that I'm sitting here staring at, is that nobody is transferring into the program with 15 transferring out of the program. And Clemson does have a couple, pardon me. They do have a few that are leaving the program. For some reason, it wasn't loading right here. So Lynn J. Dixon, running back, is going to West Virginia. Then we have Joseph Charleston. We have who is a safety. We have running back Mikel Dukes, who's going to South Florida. And then we have a couple players. One's going to Georgia Tech. One's going to Vandy. We have Ray Thornton, safety, and then we have Frank Ladson. That's going on too. So they do have a few leaving here on Clemson, and so pardon me on that. But they don't have as many. I'm just going around the ACC. I mean, I'm simply just going around the ACC. How about Georgia Tech? Georgia Tech struggled this year. So how about Georgia Tech? Let's see what Georgia Tech has in the transfer portal. Georgia Tech has not as many as Syracuse. So looking at this right now, Jordan Huff, Marcus Ezard, Kaya Wright, Jahmyr Gibbs going to Alabama from Georgia Tech, the running back. Big time for Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs has done some good things, so good for him. Jordan Yates, Jamal Kamp, Tony Amerson, Jamius Griffin, Jaquan Griffin. Yeah, so still not as many as Syracuse. And Georgia Tech has been reeling as of late, trying to, Jeff Collins trying to change what the offense is going to be, and it's obviously taken some time. How about the Virginia Cavaliers? They just had their coach step down. Let's see how many are in the transfer portal for Virginia. Virginia's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, let's see. Let's make sure here. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Syracuse has 15. So Virginia, who just had their coach step down, they don't have as many players leaving their program as Syracuse. What about Virginia Tech, right? Virginia Tech, they just fired their head coach, Justin Fuente. And they had some, last year they decided to keep them, and things have been kind of turmoil here. So how many does Virginia Tech have? 1, 2, 3, 4 from Virginia Tech. So what I'm getting at here, folks, in the reality of it all, is that you got coaches getting fired, and they don't have as many players in the transfer portal at that school as Syracuse. Syracuse has 10 commits coming in and 15 transfers going out, so you can't even cover your butt in the transfer portal, let alone in normal recruits. And on top of that, you have nobody coming into the team. Those are the points that I've been making these last few minutes. It's not just that things aren't going great. It's in the transfer portal, it's that nobody's coming in. Everybody's running out. Coaches are running out. NC State has 1 player leaving. Just going around the ACC, nobody has as many as Syracuse. They may have 10. How about the Miami Hurricanes, right? They had Manny Diaz leaving and Mario Cristobal coming in that maniac madness. Let's see what happened with Miami. Miami's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players leaving. Syracuse has 15, so almost double. The Pitt Panthers just won the ACC championship. Does Pat Narduzzi have anybody leaving the program? He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he has a player coming in, an offensive tackle from Ohio State. He's got 5 leaving the program. Might as well go through the whole ACC. I did Florida State. How about Boston College? They had an okay season, right? They had a equator type season. So what do they have? They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. So Boston College has half of what Syracuse has, and they had an okay year. What about Louisville and Scott Satterfield? Where's Louisville at right now? Let's see where things are at for the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 leaving, no, 8 leaving, and 2 coming in. So they still have 2 coming in. 1 coming in from Tennessee, 1 coming in from Miami. So Louisville doesn't have as many as Syracuse. Nobody does. So we did BC, Clemson, Duke, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Miami, NC State, Pitt, Virginia, Virginia Tech. So we got to do 2 more. Let's see what North Carolina has. They didn't have the year that they were supposed to have. So let's see, does North Carolina have as many transfers as Syracuse going out of the program? Let's see. North Carolina has leaving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8 leaving. And Wake Forest. Wake Forest won the Atlantic Division that Syracuse is in. How many does Dave Clawson have to make up for here? 1, 2, 3. 3 players leaving Wake Forest. So, I mean, the writing is on the wall here, folks. You know, people say, well, it's happening all over the country. It's an epidemic. It is happening all over the country. But it's not happening as much in any other school in the ACC that Syracuse plays in than Syracuse. So it's my annoying moment of the week because this is obviously a giant red flag of a fire that's happening and people are running from it, but nobody's running in to put this fire out. That's reality. And it needs to change because this is my hometown. I care about them. I care about these players and I want to see them do well and I want to see them succeed. So you can't just write this off and say it's a bunch of kids who don't have any personal responsibility and don't care. There's obviously a problem in Syracuse and we need to get to the bottom of it. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this with Juanita Ward in lead. Learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Speaking on taking a deep breath, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called Life. Always appreciate being here, hanging out with you inside of the Café Football studios on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as facebook.com/livenowdt, and of course on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt and on wakeupcalldt.com. So however you're connecting with the show, thank you so much for tuning in to us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And like I said, I hope you're having a fantastic day and making the most out of your day. With that being said, speaking of making the most out of your day, we're happy to have Juanita Ward hanging out with us on the live line here for Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. And Juanita is here with us, motivational speaker and an author, and an all-around incredible human being is here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of Lead, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And today's topic, taking a deep breath. So, with that being said, before we go anywhere, we got to bring her into the broadcast. Miss Juanita, how are we doing today?
Hey, Dan, how are you?
Doing very well. And Juanita, I mean, you and I were just talking about this off the air, and this is something I want to bring up because it's the holiday season. I love Christmas, and I love Christmas because not because of the presents. I love Christmas because of the giving, and I love Christmas because it's first and foremost it's Jesus' birthday. It's the birthday of the person whose cross I wear around my neck, of somebody who I thank for waking me up every single morning. So with that being said, you and I talked about the Christmas tree. I'm one of the crazy people that goes out there and works at the tree farm for the day. Basically, I go out there, I freeze my behind off, I walk out with the saw, I'm all snowed up, I'm laying on the ground, I'm getting wet in the snow, I gotta wear all these layers, and I'm cutting the tree down, I'm sawing the tree down, then I'm carrying it to the tractor, then I'm bringing it on the tractor, then I'm paying $50 for it. I said this year, instead of paying $50, I'm going to tell them that I'm going to punch a card and tell them that I came in to work, and I'm going to charge for an hour. So what are, you love doing the Christmas tree. You got the Christmas tree. Did you ever used to cut one down? And I know we were talking about it a little bit off the air.
For sure. When I was younger with my father, we would go to a specific location where they had a whole bunch of trees. And it was like the best thing ever, because, you get an opportunity to be around family, mom and my brothers and my sisters. We would go there and just enjoy each other. And so it's really fun to spend that time. It was extremely exciting because the expectation was so high. And I remember one time in particular at my school, at my elementary, I was the one that had to bring the Christmas tree to school. And so we could decorate it. And so I thought that was pretty awesome. And it was just a huge time for us. And, I love everything about Christmas. Christmas is just one of those times where it's just so beautiful. It feels so good. And so we just have to make sure that we continue to keep that moment. We continue to keep that joy, not just for Christmas, but every day of the year. But we're so grateful that when Christmas comes around, it's extremely awesome. The atmosphere just feels just right.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like you said, keeping it year round. I was talking about that on the show this week of, it's amazing how people can get in the holiday spirit, but they can't keep that spirit all the time. And my question is why? If you're in the holiday spirit, you're in the holiday spirit. Just hold on to it. You're the one that decides to be happy, and so you're the one that can decide to stay happy. And to stick with that for a second, Juanita, are you surprised that people almost, in their brain, it's like, oh, it's Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, so I have to be thankful, I have to be appreciative and faithful, and then I have to promise myself good things for the future. We're programmed to say we have to do that. We're going to be thankful, we're going to be appreciative and giving, and then we're going to promise ourselves positive things for the coming new year. And then for the other months, some people just go about their business in the opposite direction. Does it kind of make you laugh sometimes that, we're the ones that have kind of been programmed to think this way? And if you can tell yourself that, December's the month of giving, why can't every month be the month of giving?
Well, a taught behavior is not something that, you'll be surprised at, because as a child, when we come out of our mother's womb, we're taught certain things, and we're taught how to believe certain things. We're taught how to act certain ways. And so a taught behavior is not something that I would be surprised at. But this is definitely what happens, right? This is definitely what has happened, for generations and generations and generations. However, it's not too late to change. It's not too late to continue to say, you know what? After Christmas, I'm still going to be happy. After New Year's, I'm still keep this resolution. It is discipline. And, as a coach, I teach discipline, accountability, responsibility. And whatever you attract, whatever you think on, whatever you speak on, you will have this same thing consistently over and over and over. Your words frame the picture for your future. And so whatever you think, whatever you say, you shall have that. You shall dwell on that. You shall be that. And you don't have to just give thanks because it's this season. And you don't have to go and, get into the Spirit when you stay constantly and the Spirit dwells inside of you constantly every single day. I tell you all the time, I wake up and I say, for the joy of the Lord is my strength. It has to be a discipline thing. It has to be a consistency in what you say and how you say and how you act. It has to be consistent. To be joyful every single day should be just who you are. To give should be your passion. To love should be your passion. To be a protector should be your passion. To think right should be your passion. To have the Spirit living inside of you should be your passion. That Spirit that lives inside of you is the Spirit of the love of Jesus Christ. And the more you love, the more you have compassion, the more you have kindness, the more you have joy, the more you have gentleness, the more you have long suffering and patience, the more you can say to yourself, you know what? I'm just going to do this anyway because it's just who I am. I don't have to wait to a specific season to actually get into this. The good thing about it is we're not seasons, we're humans. And yes, we have emotions, but the good thing is we don't change like winter, spring, summer, and fall. We can actually have the joy of the Lord every single day of the year living on the inside of us. Not to say that you will never have emotions, but we can have emotions, but not have emotions to the point where it makes us sin and it makes us, think negative really bad. Keep constant peace at your lips. Keep a constant guard around you. Always speak the truth so that you can live the truth. If you want to live a joyful life, speak it. Talk it. Whatever you say frames your future.
Yeah, and that is so true. And whatever you say, they talk about speaking things into existence, like I will, or I will not, and I think that that's something, they say, and, some people say that words don't matter. They do, because when I spoke negative words upon myself, I stayed in a negative state and I felt like I could not get out of it. And when I spoke positive words upon myself, I pulled myself out of negative things. So it was amazing to me that I can say a one simple sentence to myself to remind myself of who I am and what I'm doing and what I'm here for and who my God is and all of that, and it lifts me up. And in the same way, I could, in the past speak some other things to myself, and it would bring me down and keep me down and leave me there, and I think it's so important. I mean, one of my favorite quotes, the one that came from Rocky when he was talking about life isn't easy and it's gonna hit you and it'll hold you down if you let it. And I just remember that and I sit on that. Life will hold you to the ground if you let life do that. And it is about what you're saying. It's about the language that you speak. And, they call it the law of attraction. The energy you put out there. When somebody says, hey, I was around this person and I just felt like there just wasn't good energy. There's just something about them. I didn't feel safe in the room, so I left. And then you hear the opposite. Oh, my gosh, this person was beaming. Their aura, it just attracted me. I wanted to be with them. I wanted to be around them. In a crowded room, I just felt drawn to them. We hear people talk about that all the time. Drawn to, drawn away. So, what you speak on is what becomes your life. If you tell yourself every day, I'm going to be a failure, I'm going to be a failure, then you're not going to push yourself to succeed, so you will fail. If you say every day, I'm going to succeed, I'm going to succeed, I'm going to make it, I'm going to succeed, I'm going to succeed, if you say that to yourself and you're going through life and things are tough, before you know it, you're going to get out of that. I can't tell you how many times I was in a situation where I said, this situation, I'm never going to get out of it. It's going to get me. I can't find my way out of this. And then I look back on it, I'm like, that was 15 years ago. That was when I was a kid. That was, last Tuesday. That was 3 months ago. What you say to yourself and what you do has an immediate effect on you. And Juanita, to couple with what you say and what you speak on, taking a deep breath. When things get crazy, when life gets hectic, and maybe our habit is to deface ourselves, put ourselves down, instead of doing that you take a step back and you, I got this. That's today's topic. Taking a deep breath. What can you say about the importance of doing that, not just in your life, but doing it as a daily reflection and a daily reaction to the world that we live in?
The scripture that comes to mind is James 1:19, where it says to be slow to speak, slow to anger, quick to listen. And that's what has to take place. In order to take a deep breath, you have to stop talking and you have to listen more. Most importantly, you can't get angry and emotional about everything, because someone's opinion is that person's opinion. If someone says something on the news that really takes you off, well, that's the opinion. Make sure that when you speak, that your words, the words that you speak, are knowledgeable and they have some nutrients behind it that's sustainable. And we have to be careful of allowing social media or allowing the television to create our future, to shape our future, because everybody's opinion does not really matter. But when you can agree to disagree, that's power. So you have to believe in taking a deep breath. Don't get yourself so worked up about life. Everything is not going to be peaches and cream. If it was so, we would still be living in the Garden of Eden. We would still be living there, because Adam and Eve would have never ate the apple off the tree. She would have never been deceived by the serpent, the snake. But that's just like where we are right now. The snake continues to slither around and speaks negativity into someone's ear, and all of a sudden, they start to feel emotional about a certain way, and they start to feel angry about a certain way, or they get erratic about a certain thing because they've put out a very knowledgeable statement, but the other person don't believe in the statement that they put out, which has that person's opinion is not taken well with someone else, or the way that person thinks they need to have in this world is not taken with everyone else. Don't get so caught up in trying to make yourself perfect. Take a deep breath for a second. Life is what life is. But when you have Jesus at the center of your life, when you have God in your life, when you allow yourself to have a place of peace and a place of refuge, that's why I tell people all the time, it's important to go to church. The Bible speaks of that, and it tells us that we are to assemble ourselves. It's important to be around other believers because, number one, it teaches discipline, accountability, and responsibility, but it teaches you how to be grateful, how to be sane, pretty much. Because now you start to, it's just like children. We send them to school faithfully. Why do we send our children to school faithfully? Because we want them to go and learn something. Well, school doesn't stop for adults once they become of age. You have to continue to go and learn. There's another part in the Bible that I absolutely love. It says, once as a child, I spoke as a child. I did things as a child. But when I became old, I dropped childish ways. So you can't go to school as a child, but then become older and just say, you know what, forget it. I don't want to go to any place of refuge and learn nothing about life. That's backwards. Once again, a taught behavior you can never be surprised about. There has to be discipline, accountability, and responsibility to help you understand that you don't get mad at somebody else's opinion. You don't get mad when things don't go your way. You have to use patience. You have to use long suffering. You have to be calm. And as I said earlier, James 1:19 is very key. It comes into mind. You have to be able to say, I'm going to be slow to speak. I'm going to be slow to anger. I'm going to be quick to listen. Just because I know doesn't make me right. Sometimes being exactly right is just the ear that will listen. And in return, it saves you a bunch of stress, saves you a bunch of time of getting overly excited about something that you cannot control. When you just listen, you'll hear your answer. You'll get your answer. But when you rest in the presence of God, it's something supernatural that happens because you get a fresh download. Take a deep breath. Be slow to anger. Be slow to talk. Quick to listen.
You know, and you say it, Juanita, and you say it so beautifully, you know, that we do get those answers that we seek when we take the time to listen for them. You know, we want them to just appear. Okay, I have a question. Where's my answer? You know, as quickly as you have the question, what's the answer? What's the solution? You know, life doesn't work that way. Life is not, as soon as something happens, this is what you do. You know, it takes time. We live in a microwave society. Everything's got to be done in less than a minute. Everything's got to be posted. I worked for a company, and I was apprehensive about working for this company. And after I worked for them for a year, I told myself I'd never do it again. They were all about the story. Get the story out. Story, all day long. I remember one day I pulled off on the side of the road and had to write a story on my phone on the internet. And I had to put all of the coding in on there, so I couldn't just write the story. I had to put the paragraph coding, and I'm sitting on the side of the road writing this story an hour and a half away from home. And then I remember one time I'm writing a story while I was eating pizza with my family at a restaurant. I'm typing on the computer with my right hand. I'm eating with my left hand. My grandmother's sitting on the right of me, looking at me like, what are you doing? And I said to myself, why do I have to do it right now? And I just feel like in society now, we don't take a deep breath because we don't think we have the time to. There's no time. You got to be on social media. You got to go on Facebook, then you got to go on TikTok, then you got to go on Twitter, then you got to go on YouTube, then you got to go here, got to go. These last 19 months made us stop. These last 19 months, God forced us to take a deep breath. Many of us did, and we learned something good. We learned something healthy. But see, the thing is, not only the good in the fact that we finally took a deep breath, now that life is getting back to normal, will you remember to take it? Because that's the challenge I have for myself and for others. Okay, you took your first deep breath in 3 years. I'm happy for you. But you remember how good it felt to take that deep breath during the last 19 months. Are you going to stop breathing now? Now that life is back to being busy again? So I think it's not just to learn the lesson, it's to continue to learn the lesson that shows the people that truly succeed.
What I've typically have seen in the last few months, especially since everything became a standstill, is it seems as though everyone has to make up for lost time. Everyone has to hurry up and make up for lost time. And I love the example that you gave about, the job. Hurry and write the story. Hurry and write the story. But there's something about not making up for lost time and just starting where you are. A plane takes you to one country to the next country, 23 hours, 8 hours, 15 hours. You're going to get from one location to another location on a plane, but you're going to miss everything underneath. The only thing that you'll see on this plane is the back of your eyelids, the people that's on the plane with you, and the clouds. Until you get ready to land, you'll start to see what the world actually looks like. And then there's another example where you have a car. You're inside of the car and you drive, and you're driving the speed limit. Yeah, you see things, but they're going by so fast. Another example, you have a runner. And the runner is running. Yes, they see things, but it's still going by fast. And then the last person you have is a walker. The walker is walking. Yes, they see things. And this time, they actually see what's in front of them. What does life say? Don't rush trying to hurry up and get to your destination, trying to make up time that you lost, thinking that you are losing out. You will miss something in the middle if you rush the process. You have to be able to take a deep breath in order to stay healthy. That's the reason why we go to the beach, or we go to the mountain, or we go, on a picnic, something that will give us some type of relaxation so that we can check back in with self. I want to give an encouragement. Don't get so caught up trying to live for the moment that you forget the seconds. Because if the moment becomes the big picture, I have to have a big moment so that I can have a humongous memory. Well, then you'll start to despise the small beginnings. There's something about taking that walk. There's a part in the Bible that says, walk by faith and not by sight. If I continuously run, I'll miss everything. I'll miss the process. I'll miss what's good. I'll miss something. But if I walk and I do it at a good pace, I will see the good. I will see what I need to see. I won't miss any steps in the process. I won't miss any instructions. And I'll start to understand myself better, because now I'll take care of self. I'll take care of my mental. I'll take care of my body. Because we can go so much, our body gets so tired that we forget to take care of self because we're trying to keep up with everybody else. You have to be able to take care of yourself. Find some downtime. If your downtime is on a Tuesday, take it. If your downtime is on a Thursday, take it. But you have to take. It's an action. You actually have to take it in order to take the breath. You can't rush life. You can't rush trying to keep up with somebody else. Sometimes when God gives you an idea, the idea is not for that moment. It's not for that season. Sometimes the idea that God has given you is for the future. And you have to build everything in the middle. You have to grow in order to receive more for the idea that God has given you. You can't rush the process. Take your time. Take a breath. Slow down. Life will pass you by. You will miss the beauty because rushing the process.
Yeah. That's the thing. And life is a process. Life takes time. I've been impatient. I've been patient. When I'm patient, I feel healthy. When I'm impatient, I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack and I feel like I can't breathe. So, your body reacts, pretty much tells you what's right and what's wrong. When you're patient and you You're able to do things a lot easier, a lot better. You can think clearer. When you can't think about anything because you're thinking about, I'm hyperventilating. That's what you're thinking. Just walk. Walking changed my life. So just do me a favor today and take a walk. Dan, it's cold out. Take a walk in your house. I got a track in my house. Do I have a real, track? No. My house is circular in this one area. So I've realized that if I jog around it for a certain amount of time, I'll hit my steps. So I just jog around that. I jog around that area. And it gets my cardio in. It gets me listening to music. It gets me to take some time to myself. It gets me clear-minded. And it's so easy. So when it's cold outside, people say, well, what do you do? If it's too cold outside, I put on my sneakers and my shorts and my t-shirt, and I run around my little mini track that I made for myself. So I take a breath. So I stop. You know, I have to take this message today just like maybe you do. I have not been taking breaths lately. I haven't stopped. I have to. My body physically said, hey, Dan, I don't like you right now. So I have to respond to that and say, okay, what do you need? Well, I need to sleep. I need to run on that little track, brother. I need some time, just me and you. Listen to your body. It's not going to lie to you when it says, I need a breath. I need a minute. That's why Juanita said, when you go to church, there's a message. Right? You never go to church and they're like, hey, we want to hurt you. We want to give you a negative message. It's a positive place. And sometimes when we go through turmoil, we run from positivity. We run from positive places, people, and things. Because we want to stay mad. Don't do that. Don't stay in that rut. Think about it like your tire if you're driving. If your tire stayed in that mud hole and it just kept spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning, you're never going to get to your destination. You got to love yourself enough to wedge that tire up against something, to get something out of the back seat to throw under there, to call somebody to help you out, to get the jack out there so that you can get your wheel out of that mud so you can get to where you're trying to go. Nobody wants to sit in mud spinning their wheels. Nobody wants to be stuck in a snowbank. So why do you do that to yourself emotionally, faithfully, physically, mentally? Every time you get stuck in a rut, I want you to picture yourself with your wheels spinning in mud and ask yourself, do you want to sit there all day and not get to the restaurant, not get to the store, not go to pick up your kids, not get to the basketball game, not get to your show? Do you really want to sit in the mud all day? No. So the next time you do that to yourself, I want you to picture that wheel all muddy and brown, spinning like crazy, and say, what are you going to do to get out of that mud hole? Because you don't need to be in it. Any final thoughts, Juanita?
Take the deep breath. Believe. Have faith in yourself. Everything is going to be all right. If you can just say, for the joy of the Lord is your strength, and just believe that, only thing you have to do is just believe with a little bit of faith. Because that little bit of faith is going to go a lot. It's going to go a long way. That little bit of faith, it will go a long way. And if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, get to know Him. Get to know Him. I tell anybody and everybody that. Get to know Him. Everybody says God, God, God. Just like everybody's rushing. But when you actually get an opportunity to sit down and get to know Him, the relationship that you would have with Him will be like none other. The relationship that you would have will be like none other. And it will change your life forever. How you look at things now, you're not going to look at it the same way. The little small stuff that made you angry, it's not going to make you angry anymore because you're getting a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. It's not going to make you angry anymore. And I love this show because, Dan, you openly talk about Jesus. You openly talk about it. And you don't shy away from it. And that is so awesome. Because the word of the Lord says, if you deny me in front of man, I'll deny you in front of my heavenly Father. Well, that's no different than what people do on this earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'll deny you in front of their friends. But they'll go back and, God is different. What he says is this: talk about me. Talk about me in front of everybody. Because the more you talk about me, the more I'm going to do for you. Go out and share me with the whole entire world. Share my love with the whole entire world. God says, share my love. My love is Jesus. Share my love. Share Jesus with the whole entire world so that nobody will be lost. You have an obligation. You have a command. I would rather take commands from someone that actually controls my life, that actually has a good place for me, than to take commands from somebody that really doesn't care.
Yeah.
Share the love of Jesus with any and everybody. Do it as if it's your last breath, because one day it may be. You can't say that you're going to go to a place and you really don't know. Why not go out and share the love? Share the love of Jesus Christ. Because one day that window is going to close. And you want God to say, well done, good and faithful servant.
Yeah.
It's not going to say good and faithful son, good and faithful daughter. He's going to say, well done, good and faithful servant. God is going to say, well done, good and faithful servant. Do your job. Just do it. You believe it, just do it. Go out and share the love of Jesus Christ and be bold about it. If you say you love him, share it with somebody else. Because what you love, you share. If I love Skittles, I'm going to share some with you if you ask me. If I love love, I'm going to share that. Whatever's on the inside of you will come out of you. And if there's something that's not right, just ask God to take it out. Ask him to take it out. And he'll do it, but you got to believe. The only way we live in life is we believe that we have a job. We believe that we woke up. We believe that the lights cut on. We believe that the car starts. We believe. We believe in all of these other things. Believe in Jesus. Your life will never be the same. Believe now. Don't wait. Believe right now. Don't wait. Your life will never be the same. I love you so much, Dan. Thank you so much for this opportunity. If we didn't touch but one person, that's an amazing thing. Don't ever forget, I will succeed. And let Jesus be the center of your life. Because I promise you, when you taste this and you see this, oh my goodness, the joy that will come over you, the glory that will come over you, your life will never be the same. The way you think, the way you act, the way you talk, it's going to have a brand new talk, a brand new walk, a brand new way of doing the things that you need to do. Let Jesus be the center. Believe I will succeed. Thank you so much, Dan, for this opportunity. I love you, man. Take care.
Love you too, sis. Take care of yourself. That coming from Juanita Ward here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Take a deep breath. Please. Please. Take a deep breath. We'll take a step aside for a fast break to take our own deep breath. We'll be back with the Top Dog of the Week honor and Jonathan Thomas, Syracuse Orange linebacker alum. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life, on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and facebook.com/livenowdt, as well as on wakeupcalldt.com. We're inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal with locations all throughout central and upstate New York for your coffee, tea, chai pleasure, as well as all of their incredible snacks, their chocolate chip cookies, their now holiday cookies, their chocolate chip banana bread, which is one of my all-time favorites, along there with the chocolate chip cookie, to the upstate sandwich, and so much more. Cafe Kubal, available for your drinking and tummy pleasure. So when you're hungry, you're thirsty, you need a little pick-me-up, you head out to Cafe Kubal. Any one of their locations, 3501 James Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street, 208 North Townsend Street, all in Syracuse. Downtown Syracuse, inside of Galisanos Children's Hospital, as well as 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse at Sweetheart Corners for their first ever drive-through location. So, with that being said, it's time to get into our Top Dog of the Week honors, proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. Top Dog of the Week this week, the Cincinnati Bearcats have won the top dog of the week, getting the spotlight from me this week after they have attained a place in the college football playoff. They broke a ceiling that I don't think should have ever existed, as the Cincinnati Bearcats will be going to the college football playoff representing the American Athletic Conference, a conference that used to be the Big East, and then the Catholic Seven took the Big East name and logo and kept the conference but took away football. The American Athletic was born out of this, became a conference for everything, including basketball, football, and all Olympic sports, and it created their own logo, gave themselves a name, and started to attract teams from all over the country. And Cincinnati, being one of those teams that came from the old Big East, joined the American Athletic in all sports and have been dedicated throughout almost a decade to the American Athletic Conference. And despite the news that they are moving on to the Big 12, they have done so much in the American. The American has done so much for them. And Luke Fickell and the team have moved forward to become a piece of the college football playoff. So, as they made history almost a week ago, winning their conference championship game in the American over Houston to win their second in a row, competing in their third in a row. So winning 2 of the last 3 and being in all of the last 3 AAC championship games. I commend the Cincinnati Bearcats, and I was honored and privileged to be in Cincinnati at Nippert Stadium, and I went there in hopes of Cincinnati winning, nothing against Houston, because I respect them too, but wanting Cincinnati to win, to have a shot at the college football playoff. I wanted to be in Cincinnati for the moment and to see that game, and then hopefully to see them make it to the college football playoff. The committee finally did the right thing, in my opinion, and Cincinnati is moving on to the nation's top stage to face off against Alabama, and then Georgia, who they faced at the end of last season and lost by a last-second field goal, but commanded the majority of the game. Georgia will take on Michigan. So we could see a rematch of Cincinnati-Georgia. I am such a big fan of what Luke Fickell has done, what the American has done. So from me to you, from K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding of East Syracuse, the perfect place and the only place, in my opinion, to take your dog when you need short and long-term care. We proudly honor Cincinnati, the University of Cincinnati, the Bearcats football program, the athletic department, and the American Athletic Conference as the top dogs of the week. For all that you've done to work so hard, never give up, believe in yourself, and understand that people are going to do what they want to do. All you have to do is take care of what's in front of you. They ate everything off of their dinner plate, and now they're playing in the college football playoff. Shout out to Cincinnati and those Bearcats, and congratulations on being our top dog of the week. With that being said, here on the broadcast, we have on the live line right now, ready to go. He was there for the end of the Shafer era and the beginning of the Babers era, and that is Syracuse linebacker Jonathan Thomas. Last Friday, a week ago today, we had someone else who was on that team that was a part of the end of one era and the beginning of the next, and that was Jordan Fredericks, a former running back for Syracuse. So we now proudly bring on Jonathan Thomas, who's no stranger to Wake Up Call. Jonathan, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Dan. Thanks for having the call.
Absolutely, man. And, I kind of just jumping right into it. You were recruited under Scott Shafer by his staff. When Shafer and his staff were fired and Dino came in, what did you feel? Was there a change of culture? Was there a change of how things kind of went? How do you assess what it was like to see the end of Shafer and the beginning of Babers in Syracuse?
Well, of course, it's going to be changing coaches because it's 2 different coaching staff. It was, when he came in, it was like everyone's trying to fight for DNA. Yeah. It was like everyone's trying to fight for their position, so, that was the difference that I would say. I can't really pinpoint, you know what I'm saying, where, you know what I'm saying, I don't know what to say right now, Dan. I'm sorry. But, yeah, I don't say there's really much of a difference during transition, but during the season, then you can see the difference, how we went about things and whatnot. I'll say that.
And what were the most, pronounced differences, like you said, during the season where you could see the difference?
It was just, I just look at Coach Lee, because I just saw him as a true leader, a true coach. So playing underneath him, was a difference really for me. How things just ran, inside the linebackers room and whatnot. That's where I'm closer to. I'm more involved to. I can't speak in other position groups. But that was a big difference for me, losing Coach Lee only after 2 years.
And having that loss, having that change, obviously when a coach comes in, they bring in all their guys. Shafer, to me, was just a very caring, very just, he wore his heart on his sleeve. Did you see any similarities with Dino? How would you describe Shafer as a coach, and how would you describe Dino as a coach as far as how they are with their players, and maybe do they show emotion, do they not show emotion?
Shafer had, showed more emotions, like you said, wore his heart on his sleeve and how he went about things. Because Dino was more reserved and just, more observant. I'll say, with my personal interactions, but it's two different people. You can't really compare them in that way.
And so for you, Jonathan, as you went through your time at Syracuse, you had Paris Bennett, you had Zaire Franklin, you had a core that was running one style of defense, Shafer's harassment defense, blitzing all the time, constantly going after the ball. Things transition under Brian Ward as D coordinator as a read and react and kind of wait for things to develop, which, doesn't really help a defensive player statistically look good or look good on film. How did you assess that, and how did you kind of handle that your linebacker core of Zaire, you, and Paris was extremely strong, but you looked better in Shafer's defense than you did, under Dino Babers, and it's not because your talent was less, but it was because you, instead of attacking, you guys were almost asked to kind of wait and see what happened and a play develop.
Yeah, that's true. Under Shafer, we was going. What was the defensive coordinator? Coach Bulla. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. That guy, man, great coach too. We was definitely attacking more. Under Coach Ward, we were more like you said, read and react, and especially me, because I got moved to like a nickel position. I was really out there just reacting, seeing reading quarterback, reading tackle, and reading number 2 receiver majority of the time instead of attacking, But there was some good blitzes that we started running, though, our 2017 season. Our defense really picked up, especially on third down. If I can remember that. But it was definitely two different defenses.
Yeah, and speaking here with Jonathan Thomas, Syracuse Orange linebacker alum, who was there for the end of the Shafer era and the beginning of the Babers era. For you, Jonathan, when you look back on your time at Syracuse, are you happy that you stayed in a transition? I mean, the transfer portal is running rampant right now, and I know it didn't exist when you were there, but you could transfer. There just wasn't this portal and constant moving of musical chairs. When you look back on it, are you happy that you stayed? I mean, how do you see it? Because it was two totally different defenses. It was, Brian Ward's defense gave up about 150 points a game. And then, Bulla's was totally different. I mean, it was not the same by any stretch of the imagination. And obviously being facetious with saying 150, but there was a total change of kind of how things went. There was a change of personalities as head coach. Are you happy that you stayed through that? Or do you look back on it and say, man, I wish I would have maybe gone with Shafer to Middle Tennessee, or maybe gone somewhere else where we had an attack style defense? How do you look back on things?
Man, that's a question right there. Because I'm the type of person, you can't really blame things on other people or whatnot. So I can't really say nothing like that. But I just felt like if I was put in a different environment, I would have had more hunger or whatnot. I just felt too comfortable in Syracuse. So I just put the blame on me, to be honest, because, Zaire made it out and other people had chances, so I can't say that, that didn't put us in a position for us to succeed. But for me, I felt personally I could have did better if I had years, if I transferred, I had a year to sit out and really develop. Because I really didn't have much years playing football because I really started playing football my 11th grade year. So I feel like if I learned more, especially about schemes and stuff like that, having an extra year than playing 2 years out, I would, did better for myself and whatnot. So that would be my answer.
So you put it more on you that you didn't challenge yourself as much as you think you should have.
Yeah, I put it more on me because there's example people made it out. I can't, if I would say no like that, like give you a straight answer like that. People like Steve, like there's a lot of players that had a chance, to do something in the NFL, and he's already doing well for himself. So you can't really say like they didn't put us in a position for us to succeed. It's just that I felt like it was probably just I didn't get along with the coaching staff the way, like the way I wanted to, or I was being used the way I felt like, because I'm really a blitzing type of linebacker. That's how I did well in high school and whatnot. They started putting me out in the open space, and I wasn't getting much practice, covering like slot receivers and whatnot, like one-on-one. I just felt like I could have did better than that. I could have trained more, but it's stuff like that I think about. If I had more time or whatnot to, develop my skills, or being used really more as a blitzer, or being played closer to the edge.
So do you I know you put it on yourself, speaking here with Jonathan Thomas of Syracuse Orange Football History. I know you put it on you, but you said, that if you had gotten more time in certain places, if you had gotten along better with the coaching staff, do you think that when a new coaching staff comes in and players are there because you were not recruited by them, do you feel spurned a little bit? Do you feel maybe not appreciated? Do you feel like you're behind the eight ball? I mean, there are players that have talked to me in history about when a new coach comes in, I didn't do anything to the guy, but I didn't feel like he liked me. I thought I had to work a lot harder.
No,
okay.
I played.
Yeah.
I was starting.
Yeah.
And the only thing people couldn't, even though I was, some games I was playing well, no one could really, in my position group, beat me out in practice. I used to play well during practice. That's why they couldn't take me off the field, But I was just saying, I could have played better, whatever they had me doing, watch more film. But I just wish I could have been used more close to the edge and blitzing, I thought that's more of my strengths and where I succeed. Because a lot of my plays my best plays came close to being around the edge instead of being open space and covering them two slot receiver. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's not what I was practicing. Even during practices, I never went on doing one-on-ones. Never did that. I was over here watching, doing run schemes, so it didn't make sense to me. So if that's the whole thing, if I put that on the coach staff, that's the whole thing I put on them. But other than that, I could have did better myself. And I was playing. They didn't take me. They took me off the field a couple of times and whatnot. I guess I wasn't playing well, but it was not something I was used to playing. Playing open space like that. So that'll be it. For real.
So we look at today's world, Jonathan. We talk about how, to transfer or not to transfer. As I spoke about earlier in the show, in the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, I made a note on the fact that going through the entire ACC, yes, every single one of the 14 member schools of the ACC in football has at least one player transferring out. But a lot of those teams have players transferring in, and nobody has as many as Syracuse. One has 10, some have 8, some have 4, some have 3, but Syracuse has 15. As a former player on Syracuse, looking at the transfer portal and seeing, hey, every one of the 14 ACC schools has somebody leaving, are you concerned that Syracuse has the most leaving and doesn't have anybody currently coming in?
So how many people are coming in?
None.
So
0.
None.
None.
How many commits?
There's 10 commits. There's at least 9 who finish their eligibility. There's 15 that are transferring out.
On average, how many commits usually come in during summer? How many freshmen usually come in?
Usually the freshmen...
Around 20, right?
Yeah, around 20.
Right?
Around 20. So he's about halfway there, plus got to make up for the 15 that are leaving, plus got to make up for the 9 that have finished their eligibility. So for argument's sake, on an 85 scholarship roster, he's got to fill like 40 spots, like half the team right now.
That's realistically?
Realistically, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of players. Man, I don't know what to say. I mean, I was in there this past 2 years. I know they went 1-10 or 1-11.
Yeah, 1-10 and 5-7. Yeah, 1-10 and 5-7.
And I just know that they just fired a few coaches the past couple of years. That might be having to do with it. You know, a lot of players that feel attached to their position coaches who recruited them.
Yeah.
So that could have something to do with it as well. But I don't. Coach Dino's not a bad guy. To be honest, he really
Meets
is.
that thing called life. We're inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. 30.
So I can't say nothing like it's nothing bad towards him. It's probably just how things are going on and players not liking some of the coaching staff or something. It might be that, you know. It might be that.
But as a former,
if they're leaving,
yeah,
they must feel some type of way. But you know, every person's different. I want to stay and, you know, have a commitment to my friends and my teammates. Zaire and Paris, you know, I stayed, you know, because of them. Maybe this team's not as close as the bond, because, you know, even when the coaching staff came in, there was transition. People didn't transfer, not as much. We probably had like 4 people transfer during that transition. Those 2 years because I was under Coach Dino. So this might have to be with the team, the players on the team not being tight-knit as we were.
But if the coach is the father figure, does it come down to Dino, or does it come down to personal responsibility with student athletes? I mean, how do you view it? Because almost every single coach that Dino had when he came in is gone, either because he fired them or they left. His staff has not stayed the same from year to year, and he's now leading the ACC in transfers going out. So when you don't see a family atmosphere, do you put that on Dino because he's the, you know, quote unquote dad of the family, or do you say that the kids just aren't being responsible and they're not being team players? How do you view it? Because some people say, oh, they must not care about the team. Other people say, well, it must be Dino. How do you view it? Like, you've been on a team. If you see players leave, do you put, I mean, when you see it to this extent.
It goes both ways. I've seen it go both ways. Either they feel like they're not getting the amount of chances, or the player's not good enough. Not saying that they're good enough, but it's just not the right type of what's the word? I want to use competition for them, you know. So some people transfer down. You know what I'm trying to say? So
yeah.
It goes both hands. I'm not gonna put that all on Dino, Coach Babers. He's a good guy, man. I'm not gonna put that all on him. I respect him for my time being there. He treated me well. We respect. You know.
And so as they step forward, we know all this is going on. He's got to fill out a coaching staff. He's got to find another offensive coordinator. He's got to fill like half the team as far as student athletes go with scholarships and whatnot. What would be your message to the team? Because you have a good relationship with Dino. You like Dino. You appreciate Dino. Dino's going into year 7. So if you were on the team right now in the locker room and all these guys were leaving and guys were finishing their eligibility and coaches were leaving and coaches were getting fired, if you had another 2 years on the roster, what would you say to your teammates right now?
I really just try to become a tight-knit group. Because those years of me being a successful team, either from football or soccer, it really came down to our relationship as players and how close we were. Sometimes we even like the coaches, but if we respect and trust each other to succeed, a lot of things can happen. Because at the end of the day, you playing for each other. Like the coaches ain't there running them sprints with you, lifting those weights with you. I'm telling you, those players probably won't have a close bond. That's what I'm saying. They really might not.
Yeah, coming from linebacker Jonathan Thomas of Syracuse Orange football history. Jonathan, for you, under the Dino era, 4-8, 4-8, 10-3 with Shafer's recruits and Dungy and whatnot, and then from there, 5-7, 1-10, 5-7. What do you want to say to Syracuse fans who are maybe thinking, I don't want to watch this anymore, I want to go to a bowl game? You know, the fan base is not happy right now. So what would be your message to the fan base?
Fight on. You know, it's been a while since, you know, Syracuse have some consistency being considered a real good team. We just gotta keep believing, you know. Maybe next year is the year. He went. What did he win? 10. He won 11 and. How many games he won when he went to
10-3?
Bowl game 10-3. See that? Who would have thought that would happen? You know. So maybe they do another season like that. You never know. The ACC's been crazy the past few years. Clemson's not a top dog anymore. It's pretty in Wake Forest, and we should be considered one of those teams. So you never know. We still got Sean Tucker. That boy can run. We just crazy. Syracuse always have good receivers come in. Every year that we played, there's always been some type of top tier receiver in the ACC. You know, you never know.
Well, and the issue now is that Syracuse's tight ends, both of them transferred out. Syracuse's receivers have transferred out, two of them being starters. Last year, another weapon in Nykeem Johnson transferred out. So the receiving corps is depleted. The receivers coach left to go to Kansas amidst all of this. And so Syracuse really doesn't – they have a couple guys. They have Anthony Quealy. They got a couple guys that they could try and lean on, but they've lost both of their tight ends. They've lost a bunch of their receivers, and they lost their receivers coach.
Yeah.
So it looks like a team that's going to lean on really running the ball and maybe not passing at all, or not much.
They'll get us together. I believe in them.
Jonathan Thomas, I got to ask you one final question, Jonathan, here. Sean Tucker, if you had to go up against him in practice, that man, like you said, he can run. He's fantastic. He's a lunch pail guy. He's a blue-collar guy, strong guy, Owings, Maryland, born and raised. Your thoughts on if you had to go in practice against Sean Tucker?
Oh, yeah, I'm hitting him. I'm telling you. I can tackle. I can tackle open space.
So you think you give him a little wake-up call?
Nah, that's my dog, man. he gonna be great.
He is.
Getting the ball.
And he's technically only a sophomore because of the free COVID year, so he's got over 2,000 yards of all-purpose offense, got over 2,000 yards of rushing already in 2 seasons at Syracuse. He's moving toward being a 2,500-yard back. If he stays at Syracuse for his entire time, he could surpass 3,000 yards pretty easily. So Sean Tucker, a huge part of it. Jonathan Thomas, go ahead.
Does he have a chance to gain the record of most rushing yards?
He definitely has a chance of beating that. He already has the most single-season rushing yards in Syracuse history, beating out Joe Morris after 42 years of that record being held.
Hey, so Dino's doing something right. Keep hitting the ball, so you know what I'm saying? You look at the bright side.
Well, we got a positive message here from Jonathan Thomas. I can appreciate it and respect it. I like the positivity. So thank you for that, Jonathan. I appreciate it so very much. I always love talking with you and getting to talk to you. So I look forward to talking with you soon.
I don't have a route yet.
All right. Take care.
Have a good one.
Take care. That coming from Jonathan Thomas in the midst of being at work talking with us here. So on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. So I appreciate him being here, and I definitely appreciate him being a part of it. So I'm very thankful to have him on the show and to have him be a part of this, and very much appreciate his time as always. So Jonathan Thomas, listen, I asked him those questions. I put him in that world. What do you think about Dino? What do you think about what's going on? What did you think about the transition? And he consistently said positive things. Dino let him play. Dino put him out there. He beat guys in practice. He got to go out there and do his thing. So, there you go. With a former player saying, hey, listen, I'm looking glass half full. I'm believing Dino can do this. I'm hoping the guys will get it together. I love Sean Tucker. So a lot of positivity coming out of that, and unwavering, which, is something that maybe fans can take and put in their pocket and hold on to, is that, you're getting somebody who's talking highly about, what Babers can do and the type of person that he is. So that could be a good thing for the hope of the future and the hope of year 7. So I'm happy to see the fact that, there's positivity coming out of there, and I look forward to what's to come. I really do. So I'm hoping for the best and excited for what it is. Yes, I have asked questions. I've constructively criticized, but you just heard from Jonathan Thomas, a player that I respect on the field and off the field, and he worked very hard to get to where he was, and he fought for a job in Syracuse, and he had one. So there's something to be said about that. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we'll have the opportunity to share the stage with the Executive Director of Athletics at Marywood University, Mr. Pat Murphy, as he joins us for our newest edition of Pacer Pride in the special coming up right after this fast break, where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9Campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and facebook.com/livenowdt. We appreciate you watching and listening. You can also listen to the audio feed live here from this on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt as we are in this edition of Pacer Pride. You know that Pacer Pride comes to you Fridays to round out the week on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Under promise, over deliver. We promised you a few stories. We've gotten to tell so many more, and I'm so ecstatic that we've had some fantastic coaches here on the broadcast, be it from men's and women's cross country and track and field, as well as field hockey, men's and women's basketball, and so much more. We've been able to feature Executive Director of Athletics, Pat Murphy, to start things off, and now he's back with us in the holiday season. Pat, how are we doing today?
I'm well, Dan. How are you doing? Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you as well. And I love that. You know, this whole, like, people kind of happy holiday. I'm like, no, Merry Christmas. So Merry Christmas to you as well.
Merry Christmas, Dan.
How's everything in the world of Scranton, Pennsylvania, now that we're a couple months into our multimedia marketing partnership? We've gotten to tell some stories. How's everything out in Scranton?
Everything's good. You know, it's typical Scranton weather, 85 and balmy, palm trees swaying in the wind. No, everything is fine. It's been a successful fall for us. The basketballs are off to a great start. Couldn't be better.
You know, and we look at the fact that Jen Carlton in women's basketball, she just got featured in one of our Spotlight Pacer Prides here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora exclusively. And after coming off of a loss to a top in the nation, top 25 ranked University of Scranton, they bounced back with a 3-game winning streak and then won 4 of 5 altogether after that loss to the University of Scranton. Just what you can say about how this team that's, you know, worked through Jen Carlton came in right before the season started a couple of years ago, then had the COVID season, and is now in her 3rd year technically, but is still kind of working through what a regular year is going to look like, that this team has been able to have success early on.
Yeah, well, let me say this. So when I took this job over in late August of 2019, it actually was Labor Day weekend. I literally hired Jen probably 2.5, 3 weeks after I arrived here. So she was put into a very difficult spot early on because she was hired, the season was starting, or practice was starting probably within 3 weeks. And, you know, she had to get through the year, which she did. And, you know, obviously last year was no fun for everyone with COVID and all of that. But I couldn't be happier right now. I mean, her team seems to be responding well to her. The coaches are wonderful. The assistant coaches, Jen's doing a good job. You know, her numbers are low, which I think at some point in time is going to have an adverse effect, especially as you get further into the year and we get some nagging injuries and all of that. But for this, where she currently is and how this year is taking shape, I'm very happy right now.
What made you hire Jen Carlton when you came in? And like you said, you came in late August and then hired her within a couple weeks. What did you see in her to bring her in?
Well, this is what happened. They had formed a search committee, and they were looking for a women's, obviously a head women's basketball coach. And I came in at the latter part of that search, and I didn't want to take the search over by any stretch. I wanted it to play itself out, with the people that were on the search committee and who they recommended. It came down to two people, Jen and the head coach. I think it was at the University of SUNY Canton, I believe. And I just liked Jen's presence. Also, Jen knew the same people I did, and I did some background checking on her. She had been at the University of Bridgeport. I had been at Fairfield University, which is, literally 5 minutes away. We knew some of the same people. I checked her references and all of that. And I just thought that she was the better fit for Marywood of the two.
Coming from Executive Director of Athletics Pat Murphy, as we kind of run the gamut looking at the successes of the Marywood University Pacers athletics up to this point here as we are in the holiday season. We go to the men's side of things. Just what you could say about Enrico Mastriani. I know he was hired here before you had come in, and he had worked to change some things and develop and progress this program. Eric Grunman had it for a while. Then there was a coach that took over for a very short period before Enrico took over this job, and he's been to a lot of different places, and he's had some experience at different levels. What can you say about men's basketball, what Enrico has worked to do?
Well, Enrico's a worker, as we both know. He doesn't leave a lot of stones unturned. He's very passionate about his job. He works hard at his job. And, I think right now, he's got some major wins under his belt. This past weekend, we beat Kings here at home in front of a packed house. That was a very good win. Wilkes was a very good win earlier in the year. So we're definitely on the upswing of men's basketball. I couldn't be happier with men's basketball either. But like I said, Enrico's a consummate professional. He understands how this business works. He understands what needs to be done from a coaching standpoint. He understands how crucial recruiting is, because you either got better players than the other guy or you don't, he works at it very, very hard.
So we see the successes on the basketball court. Before that got started here, we saw that women's soccer once again has found success under Andrew Smith, who's been a longtime coach at Marywood University. And we look at the women's soccer program finishing the season 13-5-1 at home, 8-1-1 on the road, 5-3. So posting good records at home and obviously away from home. And to see what they were able to do beyond that, when we look at the Atlantic East Conference playoffs, defeating Centenary 4-0, and then going up against Cabrini, tying, and going all the way to PKs, and then going to the ECAC championship. So there was an expanded season for women's soccer. What can you say about what Andrew Smith has been able to do?
Well, Andrew's been here a great deal of time, and probably from a wins-loss standpoint, one of our more successful coaches. He had a heck of a year. His record was 13-5. What people don't realize, though, is his whole non-conference schedule. He goes out and plays some of the best teams in the region. He plays powerhouse programs. So, he's kind of the mindset, well, I'll take my lumps up front, and then I'll say to our student athletes, it's not going to get any harder than what you just went through, and you survived what you went through. And then we get into league play, and we kind of cruise through league play. He won the league this year. Unfortunately, we didn't win the conference title game in the tournament. It went to penalty kicks. And we both know once it goes to penalty kicks, that's flip a coin. That could go either way. And unfortunately, we were on the downside of that, and we didn't get the NCAA bid. But we went to the ECAC tournament, and we had a decent showing there.
And to see that, to see the successes, and like you said, Andrew challenging his team out of conference and just really wants to see who they are against teams they may see down the road, just how important that is, as someone who's an executive director of athletics, to have your teams not only be challenged by the Atlantic East where there is talent, but to go beyond that. And when they're scheduling, that you see these coaches are actually trying to put themselves up against talent that they could see down the road that's really going to test their mettle in the beginning. So hopefully once they potentially see them again, they'll be ready.
Yeah. It's like it's a two-edged sword. Some coaches look at it like, well, I want to pad my record and I want to play cupcakes and, a win is a win. Andrew looks at it like, no, I'm going to play the toughest teams and I'm going to get my team prepared as well as I can so that when we do hit league play, it's kind of almost like a breath of fresh air. And they are very well prepared at that point to do what we need to do in conference. Conference is the most important thing to me anyways.
And being a part of the Atlantic East, for you, I've had the pleasure of speaking with the representation of the Atlantic East. I like the fact that this is a conference that Marywood is a founding member of. A few years ago, Marywood and other schools came together to really put this conference together and start something brand new. And you're past that waiting period of the 2 years where you don't have an automatic qualifier, and now that exists again for NCAAs and whatnot. Just what your thoughts have been about the Atlantic East and what you've seen from them as you've been at Marywood University.
Oh, I think the Atlantic East is a great conference. It's a perfect landing spot for us. I think we have a lot of like institutions. I like the leadership of the conference. I just think for us it's perfect. Now the downside is it's a little further of a drive for us because we have a lot of Philadelphia-based schools and all that. But we're all like schools. We all have similar missions as universities. And I think from a competition standpoint, we're all pretty evenly matched.
We see you talked about you like the leadership of it. Jessica Huntley has been a guest on the show here, the Atlantic East Conference Commissioner, and she has been tremendous in what this conference has done. Just what you can say about Commissioner Huntley at this point.
She's just wonderful. I mean, she's very well organized. I serve as the chair of the athletic directors in the conference, so I speak to her on, almost every other day, minimally. She's very organized. She's very on top of things. At the end of the day, she takes her directives from the presidents, and I can't say enough good things about her.
We look at the winter sports things that have been going on. We spoke about men's and women's basketball. Men's and women's swimming, just what we can say to this and the advancement of Marywood University. I remember when I used to go by the athletic facility and I go down that long walkway to the back parking lot behind the facility, and none of that was ever opened up. It was just a giant wall, and now all of that is glass. You can see into the swimming pool. And so not only to speak on men's and women's swimming, but the fact of the advancement and kind of the upgrade to the facilities that you can see everything on display. And I think it's incredible from going to Marywood from 2003 to 2007 to now see that when I walk by, that pool's staring me right in the face. And I think that's such a beautiful look to it and really shows about the advancement in facilities.
Yeah, I think we have nice, solid facilities here, Dan. I really do. And I think I mentioned to you before, we're trying to do some things to even aesthetically improve upon our facilities, kind of brand them the certain way with a certain look. We did a lot of our outdoor spaces that way. We had branded windscreens put up on the outfield fences and on the soccer field's fence. And we have good facilities here, which is, I look at facilities as a major positive in the recruiting game. Because if we don't have it, someone else is going to have it. And, we are in the business of attracting student athletes to come to Marywood and, for 4 years of their educational experience. So, our facilities have to be up to par with everyone else's. And I think we are at that level, if not surpassing other people, at least in our conference.
That coming from the Executive Director of Athletics at Marywood University, Pat Murphy, inside of this edition of Pacer Pride, exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here on inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Pat, for you, as you speak to that, you speak to the recruiting and student athletes, why choose Marywood? I've spoken with coaches about it, spoken with student athletes. You at the head of all of this, at the helm of the athletic department at Marywood, why should a student athlete consider Marywood University?
Well, Dan, probably the same reason that you chose Marywood University a few years ago. It's a great campus. It's a great campus environment. The people here are absolutely wonderful. They really care about the student athlete or the student in general. When I came here, I didn't know much about the city of Scranton. I had this mindset about the city of Scranton. And that's Scranton's a nice place to be. You've got great restaurants. You got great culture, a lot of things vying for the entertainment dollar. You have the Pocono Mountains not far away. You're 2.5 hours from New York City. You're 2.5 hours from Philadelphia. It's a wonderful place to be. I think you know that. You went to school here.
Yeah,
You could probably answer your own question right there.
Well, I think what I saw from 2003 to 2007 is when I came onto the campus, I felt different. And I remember I came to visit twice. And so I came with my dad the first time. And at the time, Jay Hamrin was a big part of communication arts. So I met with him. He knew my name. He welcomed me in right away. He knew things about me. Just felt like somebody who had actually taken the time to get to know who I was coming in. And just to kind of walk around campus, my mom came with us the second time. And my mom told me that she knew that I was going to Marywood when I went the first time and I came home, just by the way I was. And she said probably a few minutes into being there, I think we were walking up the stairs and she goes, yep, he's going here. And what it was then and what it is today, there's been an evolution. The communication arts department, the digital media and broadcasting building that I worked in is no longer there. And there's now an entire new building that's there that's supposed to, upgrade and expand everything that was done before. I look at the fact of the old gym where I started MU courtside to look at the new facilities and what, MU courtside became there and all the high definition stuff that we moved in, all the different pieces that they brought in for us for that, the rock climbing wall that was never there, the swimming pool that is a definite upgrade to the building upgrade to all the wraps and the different things that you're doing out. I can honestly tell you that what Marywood University was in 2003 that attracted me there, it was the people, it was the quality of the person, it was caring about everybody. You weren't a number, you weren't just a paycheck for the university. You were a human being. They wanted to know what you wanted to do, hands-on immediately. I got experience 5 seconds into being there for digital media and broadcasting. And so for me, I got so much out of the university in my first couple weeks, couple months that some people don't get at a university or a college in years. And on top of that, I just saw it upgrade. Every year we upgraded a residence hall. We added something for athletics. We did this to this field. We moved this over here. We expanded housing. And, the Nazareth Student Center was constantly evolving. The food that was brought in was evolving. And so in 4 years, I saw a school that only got better and only challenged itself to expand. And then since I graduated, I've only seen that continue in over a decade to the point where when I come to Marywood University, I say to myself, it just seems like the athletic side of it, the field that you can see from 81, it just continues to get bigger and bigger. And I keep wondering, how much space do we have to build on because it seems to just get greater. But yeah, what attracted me there before and what it is today, it's a million times more than what it was then. And what it was then was enough for me back then.
Yeah. It's a wonderful place. Great leadership from the board of trustees to our president, to my immediate supervisor. I've had the great fortune of being at several schools, and I will put Marywood up there with any of those schools. It doesn't matter what division we are. It all comes down to the people and the commitment, and we have that at Marywood University.
Well, and I think it's curb appeal too. As the baseball fields and the soccer fields, as everything's expanded and grown and rugby's been added in and kind of even just, moving some foliage around and opening that up. When you're coming on 81, people always would say to me, oh, the electric sign. They always, and when I said I went to Marywood, they go, "Oh yeah, that sign. I see it every time I'm driving to New York City or when I'm going, through there to Wilkes-Barre or wherever they may be." Yeah. And now when you drive by, you can really see more of the campus. And I mean, like I said, it was good back then. It's better now. But the thing that makes Marywood is that people care. They sit down with you, they take time with you, and no matter how busy they are, from you to any of the coaches that I've spoken with, there's something about the fact that everybody can take 5 minutes to greet you and talk to you and spend some time with you. You did that with Enrico, brought in a student athlete who was being recruited for men's basketball, and you stopped everything you were doing. We stopped our meeting, and you interacted with that gentleman and his father for about 20 minutes. And I think that's what I love about Marywood, and it's what I still love about Marywood is nobody's too busy to try and touch a life.
Yeah, and I think we ended up getting that kid. Was he from New Jersey? I think he was from New Jersey, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we just signed him a couple days ago. So Enrico does a great job with recruiting, as you know, and in the future looks very good for us, Dan. It does.
And I love the recruiting side of thing because you get excited about it. No matter what the sport or what's going on, you have an excitement for recruiting and a fervor for that. Where does that come from that you get so excited to, welcome people onto campus and really sell the message and who you are? What drives you when it comes to recruiting?
Well, I'll take a quote from Gene Auriemma once said one time, there's two types of coaches in this world. Those that have good players and those that are fired. So I really think success comes down to, are we recruiting the talent that we need, and are we recruiting good people to come to Marywood University? Because at the end of the day, it's not, it's not where we start, it's where we end. What are we putting out at the end of the day? And it really starts with people, and we want to recruit good people. We want to recruit good athletes too, but I think in any athletic department across the country, I know you do a lot of work with the Syracuse program up there. It comes down to the people. Do they have talent or do they not have talent? So I look at recruiting as probably the most important thing we do here.
Yeah, and
Marywood looks at it too, Dan, is that, or Marywood looks at the athletic program as a vital part of their mission, because we bring in anywhere from 25 to 27%. Right, let me take that back. 25 to 27% of all students on campus are athletes.
And that says a lot about, you're looking at a quarter of your campus is coming in there because of selling your student, your student athlete programs, your athletic programs, and what you have to offer. When I was at Marywood University to where it is today, that is something that changed, is that there was a detachment between the university and the athletic department. And now that's different. You see the Pacer logo all throughout campus. There's flags everywhere. And there's a commitment between the university and the athletic department, and then the athletic department to the university. What can you say to that piece of it in that, I think people from the outside kind of just think that's what you do, that's how you function, you're all on the same campus. But some colleges and universities detach from the athletic program and kind of function here, and then they function separately. I think the only way to be successful is to function together. How does Marywood University link between the academic and the athletic side, and what do you think that relationship is in really creating a good atmosphere?
Well, I think a lot of universities in general and operate in, quote, what we call silos. Everyone's just worried about their own little fiefdoms and all of that. One of the things I wanted to do when I came to Marywood is I wanted to make sure that we did not operate silos, and we're very good, very transparent in what we do, and we constantly communicate with others. We try to support other areas of the university whenever they need support. So, I have good coaches here, and they're very good with people, and they're very good with interacting with the rest of the campus. And I always want to make sure that we are a part of the campus. We're not operating out here, across the road on our own. we are very much a part of the campus community. We do not operate in a silo, and we're very transparent, and we do our best to communicate what we're constantly doing.
That coming from Executive Director of Athletics, Pat Murphy, here with us in this edition of Pacer Pride, exclusively found on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You spoke on coaches. One of the coaches I got to feature in Pacer Pride is Julie Trott. She used to play field hockey at Marywood University. She came back to coach the team, and so she knows what it's like to be a student on campus, and she's loved that, and she's had friendships that have stayed through, and I believe some of those women that she made friends with were in her wedding, and so she played here. She went to school here, and now she's coaching here. Just what you could say about Julie Trott and what she has done to really show the whole, full circle of Marywood. I loved my life here as a student athlete, and now she's going out and recruiting student athletes to come to Marywood themselves.
Yeah, well, I inherited Julie. Julie was the hire of Mary Jo Gunning, who had been here 30 years prior to me getting this position. You know what I love about Julie? Julie loves Marywood, loves it. It's part of her fiber. It's part of her whole core. So when you have that type of passion for the institution you work for, being a product of that institution, how can she not be successful out on the recruiting trail? I mean, the energy and the passion that she brings forward is kind of contagious. And the future is very bright for Julie. I wouldn't be surprised if she's sitting in my chair in 5-6 years from now. She's a wonderful, wonderful representation of what Marywood University is all about.
And those are some big words coming from you, Pat. Why do you think Julie could be sitting in a chair of an executive director of athletics someday?
Well, I mean, I don't know what she inevitably wants. I just see things out of Julie where I think she would be an incredible administrator one day. I don't see Julie moving away to go to the University of Nebraska to come back here. I mean, I think Julie loves Marywood so much, and I'm a firm believer in always promoting within if we can. And, I just think the future is so bright for her. She may not want to do that, Dan. I don't know what her future endeavors entail. I mean, I kind of threw it out there facetiously, but
it's a great compliment.
It is a good compliment, and she has all the tools to do it.
Another coach that's fantastic at Marywood University, men's and women's cross country and track and field, Rob Aarons. I got to sit down with him. Such a humble guy. Easy. Another, and again, what I love about Marywood's athletic department is, and for anybody that's out there as a student athlete looking to be recruited from a high school or prep school, just give them a chance and come onto campus. You walk in, you go upstairs in the athletic complex, and you go and you're just walking up and down the wing of the coaches. All the doors are open, and they're sitting in there. Walk right in, say hello, and they're just so humble. They're so welcoming. And Rob's one of those people. He is like the nicest guy. He doesn't talk about himself and how great he is. And in reality of Marywood University, when it comes to Marywood in the Atlantic East Conference, he's won every year that he could. The only year that they don't have a banner hanging up is 2020 because they didn't compete because of the pandemic. So besides the pandemic, he's undefeated when it comes to being the leader of the Atlantic East for cross country and track and field for men's and women's. And I think he's going to run out of wall space. You may have to knock down a wall for him and let him expand.
Yeah, he is really creative. We're almost like a juggernaut in our conference. I mean, it's, when we start the cross country or track and field seasons, it's almost like who's going to come in second. I mean, Rob has that type of respect, and I was at the cross country championships this year, and it was the most amazing thing I ever saw, Dan, is where it was a very rainy and muddy day, so they had to kind of change up the course slightly or whatever, and our top runner actually did an extra lap that he didn't need to do and still finished second. I mean, that's an incredible story right there. But yeah, Rob is a master recruiter. He gets the most out of his people, takes his job very seriously. And, Rob's a guy that I could see, and I understand you got to get a break here and there, but Rob's the guy I could see being at the Division I level and being very successful at the Division I level.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about Marywood University, like you said, regardless of Division III athletics, but there's no Division III mentality in the sense of there's two divisions above us. What the facilities are, the coaches that are hired and brought in, what's asked of them, and the education side of things, which I know all about that side of it with digital media and broadcasting, really in general. I got to dive into theater. I got to dive into airports, different things about, how even running an airline. I got to dive into astronomy. Marywood University in the liberal arts and in your major, huge in what they can offer to you, and it continues to expand. And then on top of that, the quality of facilities, coaches, and administrators. I mean, this is not a school that thinks that they're at any level below somebody, and you're pushing the term all the time. And I love that. I love the fact that my alma mater demands respect and backs it up, which I think is huge, not only in wins and losses, but in how you look and what you do and what you offer. Really, there's no reason for a student athlete to not consider Marywood. And that's what I love about it is I can't really tell you what they can't do. I can always tell you what we're working to do and striving to expand upon, which I think is great.
Yeah, we're always going to be looking to become bigger and better. I mean, I came in here and I was fortunate that I had the career I had at the Division I level, but I don't really see much difference. I approach my job here like we were at a Division I school. We're always striving to upgrade our facilities, get a little bit better. We signed a licensing and merchandising deal since I've been here. My next thing is I want to get a vibrant corporate sponsorship program going. To increase revenue streams coming in. So we have some work to do, but I had an athletic director that I worked for at Iona College at one time, Rich Petriccioni, and he said this, and there's really a lot of truth to this, and you might have to bleep this out, Dan, but he said if you act like you're the shit, people will eventually buy in that you're the shit. And I never forgot that.
No, and I think, for you being in Division I and seeing that world, what do you take from that? When you're at Marywood University and it's a Division III institution inside of the NCAA, what do you take from Division I and say, this is what I'm bringing here to expand and raise the level? I mean, everybody talks about environment and culture, what it is, and can you, not only can you create a good one, but can you sustain it? What do you take from your Division I experience that is vital to what you're trying to do at Marywood?
Well, let me start by saying this. When people think of Division I, they think of the Syracuses, the Penn States of the world, schools along those lines. 2/3 of Division I's are what we call mid-majors. The Power Five only make up probably less than 1/3 of what Division I is all about. Most of Division I is the Middle Tennessee states, the Marshalls, the Fairfield, Ionas of the world. And when you're a mid-major, there's not that much difference between mid-majors and the Division III level. I mean, we all have to fundraise, we all have to find different revenue streams, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But what I think the big difference is when you are at the Division I level and you are even at a mid-major, you think more like a business person would. It's more of a business. It's ingrained in you that yes, we watch our budgets and the finance, but we have to come up with revenue streams. We're always trying to bring in more money to offset or supplement budgets and all of that. So I think what I bring here, whereas I'm never going to change a total culture, but I think I do think more like from a business standpoint and what is our return on our investment. And, I like to think that, the budgets we have here at Marywood, they're sufficient. But Marywood needs to see that we are striving for excellence with that as well, and I think it still comes back down to recruiting and all that, recruiting good people here to come to school here.
what is your message with the coaches that you have at Marywood University? If you're to stand at a podium and have all of the coaching representation there, what is the message of what your expectations are and what your leadership style is?
Well, see, I have I don't know if you can call it a leadership style, Dan, and I'm sure that a lot of people won't want to hear this, but I believe I want to create an environment here where we're kind of like a family. It's a fun environment. I think if people are having fun, then they can't help but be good at what they're doing. I mean, what's the best way to say this? I'm not a micromanager. I don't believe I have to be. I'm dealing with adults, not children in our as coaches. So, at the end of the day, I just want results. If results mean you can get away with working 2 hours a day and get great results, I'm fine with that. If Rob Aarons wants to come in for 2 hours a day, but he's winning the conference championship every year and bringing in the right amount of kids to carry on a roster, and he's here for 2 hours a day, I'm fine with that. But someone else, it may take them 15 hours a day. It just depends. But I want to create an environment where people like to come to work. They're having fun at work. And if you're having fun doing what you're doing and you're respected, then you're going to be good at what you do.
Yeah, coming from Executive Director of Athletics, Pat Murphy, Marywood University, in this edition of Pacer Pride on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, exclusively in our multimedia marketing partnership. Pat, 2 final points before I let you go. Esports, I got to jump into this. The esports side of things is growing here in America. Marywood University has wins outside of the country against the University of Ottawa. They have a win over Purdue. That's the great thing about esports is there's really no division, so to speak. You can play anybody from anywhere. And the great thing about it, University of North Alabama, Bryant University, Johnson and Wales, and the list goes, New England College, and the list goes on of who esports gets to play. Really, really great to see something like this and to see the, Purdue's of the world show up on Marywood's schedule. What can you say about the excitement of esports and what Marywood has done to welcome that and embrace the technological advancement of our culture in America?
Yeah, well, it's funny with esports. I remember when I interviewed for the position here, the president, and I've told this story a few times, asked me what I knew about esports, and I really didn't know all that much about it. I felt I knew where to go to find the answer on it. And literally about, I want to say September or October of 2020, I got a directive stating that we're going to start esports and we're going to have it for the following August and get to work. So, we built out a facility here, Dan. It's probably one of the nicest esport facilities on the East Coast. We did not spare any expenses. We have 30 stations, the highest end computers, the best technology coming into that facility. Like I said, it's probably as good, if not the best facility around. It's a focal point now on campus. And I have to thank Wendy Yankelitis and her crew and the IT people and the architectural firm and all of that. But yeah, we were up and running in August, and we already were playing for championships this year in esports.
Yeah, I love it. And it's so amazing how quickly it got done and how beautiful it has been so far, which I very much want to shout out the esports side of things at Marywood. So final point here with Pat Murphy and myself, Dan Tortora. We're going to do a little rapid fire, Pat. I do this with the coaches. I'm going to put you on the hot seat. You're going to put me on the hot seat, but it's the Christmas edition. So,
okay.
So I would say holiday or Christmas-esque questions. You get 3 and I get 3. I'll defer to you and let you start.
So just a question?
Yep, just any question you want, something to do with Christmas and the holiday season.
Favorite Christmas movie?
Home Alone.
Oh, okay.
By far. Home Alone 1 and 2. Hard for me to choose between those two. I'm going to go off of the same line. If you had to watch one of these two for the rest of your life on repeat and not get sick of it, would you choose Home Alone or A Christmas Story?
Home Alone. Although Home Alone is not my favorite Christmas movie.
This is kind of like a 1B. What is your favorite Christmas movie?
I actually like Love Actually.
Okay. All right. I have that. I do have that.
Yeah.
So respect it. What's your second one?
Oh, you have to go with It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay. Which is also a fantastic movie. My grandmother.
Based in Seneca Falls, I think.
Yeah. I mean, my grandma, my dad's mom, she called her Gammy. She had Alzheimer's toward the end of her life. And I bought her the book for It's a Wonderful Life. And she couldn't remember some names of people in her family. I said, Grandma, she looked at it, she touched it. I go, Grandma, who starred in it? And she rattled off the names immediately. It was incredible how it touched her life. What's your second question for me?
Favorite gift you ever got at Christmas?
Probably this last Christmas, my dad surprised me. And when people don't know if God exists, this is where I would say yes, times a million. Not that I don't already have enough reason. So I'm going to tell a little story. So my grandfather was a man of few words, but he spent a lot of time with me. My grandpa, my Pop Miller, I call him, and because he worked at Miller Brewing Company. And so my grandfather, my dad gives me this gift, and it's this big long gift. And he had gotten me the beanbag toss, cornhole toss.
Yeah.
So I see another long box, and I go, "What is this?" So he goes, "Open it." And so I open this thing up, and it says Miller Brewing Company, and it's a train set. Now, my grandfather liked trains. My dad liked trains. There's a letter in there addressed to my grandfather. And the letter states like how much it costs and this is what you're getting and all of that. And my grandfather, his signatures are like what he wrote on there, what he paid. So I could see his signature for the first time since I was 6 and now 30 years later. And my dad says to me, so first you could only buy the train set if you worked at Miller. It's a limited edition. You can only get it if you work there. I think he paid $112. So you got like the receipt there for the check. And my dad found it in the basement. This is how how awesome God is. When my grandmother passed, I moved into that house. When I moved into that house for about 1.5 years, I lived there, went in the basement all the time, did laundry, never saw this in the basement. My grandfather had hidden, and my dad found it when he was cleaning the basement, he had hidden this train set. My dad believes that he bought it for me to give to me because I was the grandson in the family. He bought it to give it to me, and he passed away in February. And so this was supposed to be my gift. So my grandfather gave me a gift almost 30 years later after he passed away because he left it for me in the basement. My dad found it, and that gift was given to me like my grandfather was sitting here today.
That's a great story, Dan. That is a great story. Good for you.
I was going to ask you the same thing. Like, what's your most memorable gift? So I'll change it up a little bit. What's your favorite gift you've ever given to somebody?
My favorite gift I've ever given to someone. I don't know. I really don't know. Favorite gift. Probably a puppy.
Okay.
I gave a puppy to an old girlfriend. Yeah, probably a puppy.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. That's a great gift. Puppies are good. What's your last one for me?
Last one. My last question to you, Christmas related, would be, we already talked about gifts. What's your favorite Christmas song?
Favorite Christmas song? That's tough. I would have to say, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because Rudolph is my one of my favorite things about Christmas. But I would say, if I could, I'd probably say Mary Did You Know.
Okay, very good. Very good.
My last one for you is, if you could have an all Christmas day and it was like snowing outside and you could do anything you want, what would you do in like a perfect Christmas? How would you spend the day?
Well, in my family growing up, Christmas Eve was really almost a bigger day than Christmas. And I think I would love to go back to a simpler time, or simpler for us, when both my grandparents were alive and my aunt was alive, my uncle still is. And we always used to go to my grandparents' house, who lived next door to us, and we had just a festive party every Christmas Eve. And the whole room was full of presents. It would take like 3 hours to get through all the presents and all of that. And, you know, when you're a kid, you so much I looked forward to Christmas Eve so much, thinking it would always last like that forever. And of course it doesn't, you know, but you don't think of that when you're that age. But I would love to go back and have one more of those, which can't happen. I understand that, but, you know, great memories.
And that's a great answer. You know, that's my favorite Christmases, were, you know, with those moments that those people have passed on. But there's a tradition with my dad's parents. There's a tradition with my mom's parents, a tradition at home. And now my traditions have changed. They're evolving this year. And, you know, I'm excited for the evolution. But, you know, I missed the heck out of my grandparents, so I can respect that very much.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Yep.
So that coming from Executive Director of Athletics at Marywood University, Pat Murphy. Pat, as always, for Pacer Pride and for everything we do here with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, and Marywood Pacers Athletics. I want to thank you for believing in what I can do on my side, believing in, you know, what we could do for the community together. And I know we're just a couple months in, but I'm very grateful, eternally grateful. That
you're a great ambassador for Marywood University, Dan, and I want you to know that. And you know your presence around here when you do come to games and stuff or events is greatly appreciated.
Well, I appreciate that very much, Pat. Big words coming from somebody that I respect and I'm very thankful for. So with that being said, a Merry Christmas and a happy holidays.
Same to you, Dan. All right. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecabal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item, available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA. That's 315-450-6272 for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpazsnacks.com. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the Southern Tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-paying non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market, and every Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. all throughout the week, there for you with their general store as well as their indoor dining and bistro menu that changes every single weekend. So you can dine in during the week, but on the weekends, the bistro menu changes every single week. So you get something different, something new, something on special, which brings you back to the Millhouse Market every weekend to dine in and try something amazing. And of course, they have their drive-through carry-out window where you can grab your food and go without having to leave the comfort of your very own car. So make sure you download the Millhouse Market app today so you can have contactless pay, tip on the app, as well as have their entire menu at your fingertips so you can order your food, grab, and go. And of course, the general store, perfect for this holiday season and Christmas season to get local soaps as well as local seasonings to utilize in your kitchen, honeys, syrups, jewelry, kids' toys, clothing, and so much more at the Millhouse Market, consistently helping our community, paying it forward, and helping other local businesses in our area, making it worth the drive every single time. With that being said, I want to thank you so much for being a part of this week of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Our guests have been tremendous all week long. I've been so honored and so privileged to be able to celebrate the guests that we've had on the show this week. I'm so thankful for each and every single one of them. I want to thank you for being a part of the show. I want to thank all my listeners, all my readers, all my viewers, and everybody who's supported the show, everyone who's watched our live events and come out to our live events. You can go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt right now and see a slew of fantastic shows, including our broadcast that we just did, proudly presented by Progressive Dental. Find out more at progressivedentalny.com. We just did 2 shows there with Norwich High School featuring the Norwich Purple Tornado girls basketball team and the Norwich Purple Tornado boys basketball team. So definitely go check those out. We did an all-new dolphin dive with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Luke Sutherland, a New York State champion with West Genesee. So you can go and check that out as well and see what we have going on there. So many great shows, so many great people. I'm so honored. Chris Heidel joined the show this week. American Athletic Conference Commissioner Mike Oresco joined it. Chris Heidel from Herb FM Radio, who's a fellow sportscaster. Papa Joe has always joined the show this week, which I'm so thankful for and appreciate so very much. And then we've also had the opportunity to be joined by Mike Sofka for fantasy football. Like I said, Luke Sutherland for the Dolphin Dive joined us. David Walker from Syracuse Orange football history and a former coach at Syracuse, Pittsburgh, and then in the NFL with the Colts and the Lions. He joined the show. So big ups and a big thanks to David Walker for being a part of the show, which I appreciate so very much. And also Fran joined me from Cafe Kubal on site, on location. Every month we pick a Cafe Kubal, we go there live. Fran joined me for Tortora Squared on Tuesday when we celebrated her signing to play Division I women's lacrosse at Stony Brook, who's consistently one of the top teams in the entire nation, if not the top 2 or top top team in the nation. So Fran joined me on Tuesday, and I loved that opportunity. I did a live show with the Bills Mafia and the Bills backers at Pizza Man Pub with Al Romano, who's a national champion with Pitt. And, of course, we had motivational speaker on and author on the show that I was so happy to have, and to speak on his journey through mental health struggles as well as substance use disorder and homelessness, all the way to coaching in the Rio Olympics and now opening his own rehab center and doing a book tour in prisons throughout America coming up hopefully this year, Mr. Tony Hoffman. So it's been such a great week with so many great people, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the show. Greg said have a great week. I hope you do too, and I hope that you all make sure that you follow us back here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Wake Up Call is live for you on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/live-now-dt, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on wakeupcalldt.com, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And then you can see the show in our archive and watch and listen to the show in the archive as well. iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, MixLR, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and so much more. Just search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Proud thanks to all of our Central and Upstate New York partners: Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Progressive Dental, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Make sure you use their site, maandpaspopcorn.com, to order anywhere in the 50 states, and they will deliver your favorite kettle corn to your doorstep if you go to maandpaspopcorn.com, not just here on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, but also for everybody all throughout America. Order online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Avicoli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, the Lemoyne Dolphins, Millhouse Market, Honda City of Liverpool, PB&J's Lunchbox, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and Mother's Cupboard. And, of course, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the proud multimedia marketing partner of the Lemoyne College Dolphins. Make sure you check out Lemoyne during Dolphin Time with our specials every first and third Wednesday, AD and DT, featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, with new episodes every month on the first and third Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And then every second and fourth Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Dolphin Dive with student athletes, coaches, and staff members joining us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to celebrate Lemoyne. You could subscribe to our YouTube channel, Wake Up Call DT, to get all of these videos. Of course, you can go to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com, and you can find out more information on all upcoming events by going to LemoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of the Marywood University Pacers, my alma mater. You could check out the Pacers by going to marywoodpacers.com. And, of course, you can come here every Friday each month to check out our newest editions of Pacer Pride. Under promise, over deliver. We're supposed to bring you a couple specials a month, one special a month. We've been bringing you multiple specials every single month, every single week. And that is our dedication to Marywood University and Pacer Pride. So every Friday, to round out the show, you can trust that the Pacers will be here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Marywood University celebrating them every single month. And you can check out the Pacer Pride episodes by going and subscribing to YouTube on our channel, Wake Up Call DT. And, of course, you can go to the Marywood tab on wakeupcalldt.com and go to marywoodpacers.com for more information. With all that being said, I thank you so much for joining us inside the Cafe Kubal studios. Find Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street, 208 North Townsend Street. Home of Kubal Co-works for your business as well. Those are all locations in Syracuse. You can go inside of Galisanos Children's Hospital to their Cafe Kubal location in downtown Syracuse, and you can head out to 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York on your way to get a tree this weekend. And you can find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners for their drive-through location for Cafe Kubal. So, with all that being said, I hope you have a great week. Big shout-out to Juanita Ward today, as well as Jonathan Thomas and Pat Murphy for being my guests, Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week, as well as Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for lead and for the top dog of the week. And shout out to the Cincinnati Bearcats. A big ups and a big thanks to the entire team, Lorraine, Chad, Heather, and the gang over at K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding in East Syracuse right off of Bridge Street. So make sure that you check them out. Bring your dog over there for short and long-term care, as well as to pick up products for your dog and to get them some grooming as well. So a lot of great stuff at K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, including to stock your stuffing for your little furry loving friend. You can get them some nice gifts there this holiday season. So make sure you do that in East Syracuse right off of Bridge Street for K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. In the meantime, find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. And of course, God bless, no stress, do your best. I'll talk with you all soon, and enjoy the Syracuse-Georgetown game.